to the Whitest House. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. Except the blood of the poor and the way they mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the Whitest House, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
Hopefully you're not a white supremacist if you're watching this show, but if you are, you know, we hope that you maybe learn the error of your ways. That's why we're here at This Week in White Supremacy. I am Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media, and to my immediate right,
you got your boy Treble Never Like Supremacy. You know what I'm saying? One Hood's hippie, head teaching artist out here to give you some game.
Absolutely. And twinless today.
I am twinless. I'm kind of sad, but we'll make it through. It's your girl Miracle. I am just here to bring the fake flowers and positivity to your screens this evening. Absolutely.
And for those wondering, Farouk is the supervillain, part-time hater. There's no shades today. Unfortunately, he is in, I guess, tech practice. You know, he's gone Hollywood on us, so he's making his acting debut. I believe it's open to the public Saturday, right?
Well, I was able to buy tickets for Friday, so we'll see if they're like, man, you can't be here.
Okay. Oh, I thought that was the depressed only. Okay, well, Friday, Saturday, that'll be our call to action. So we're going to push that. We're going to let y'all know about what's happening this weekend. But Farouk is in practice, so it's just us three today. And we want to get... Yes, he's a thespian. We're going to get right into it with... a man who might be the next governor of California, who's black, but argue that slave owners are deserving of reparations. I don't know if he said instead of black people. Let's play it. I mean, well, anytime you see, I don't know, it's like, I guess this episode is heavy on black white supremacy. I don't know. All right, so let's get into Candice Owens and Larry Elder on the Candice Owens show. Let's hear what they have to say.
Have you been to Africa? I've been to Africa. Okay, I'm perfectly content living in America. Most people don't realize, like, the opportunities that you have here in America, you'd have never had otherwise. And this was actually one of the first countries that banned the slave trade, right? I mean, Britain was ahead of us.
That is actually not true.
But America was just right behind them.
By the way, when you mentioned that the UK was ahead of us, they were. Do you know that the slave owners were compensated? After they lost their quote-unquote property, the government compensated slave owners.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so when people talk about reparations, do they really want to have that conversation? Because, like it or not, slavery was legal, and so their property, their legal property, was taken away from them after the Civil War. So you can make an argument that the people that are owed reparations, and not only just black people, but also the people whose quote property close quote was taken away after the end of the Civil War.
So what do you make of?
And by the way, that's why there was no war in the UK.
Right.
The slave owners got substantial amounts of money.
That's fascinating.
And you look at the amount of money adjusted for today's dollars. It's
She's
a great deal of money that the former slave owners got, which is one of the reasons they didn't fight a war.
I can't wait to look into this. I never knew that.
Can we could? I think we can.
Here.
So Miracle.
Why don't people understand history and know history? Like, what do you mean you did not know this? Like, first of all, Southern slave owners actually got money and financial support. And in addition to losing their property, they were also able to just transfer their property to their white wives and white daughters. Therefore, the government actually couldn't seize it and give it to the newly freed men and women, as well as the black people who were already freed, whose land was illegally seized at the time. So I'm irritated that why does it always have to be like black people that have to push these like narratives? Why can't there just be sons of the Confederacy who are out here talking about they want their reparations again, which, by the way, we are seeing because black farmers still to this day can't even get money for the land that was stolen, the seeds that were poisoned and stolen from them by the U.S. government, while white farmers have again gotten investment after investment after investment. So if we're really going to talk about people who are owed reparations, let's talk about Black landowners, Black farmers, instead of saying, oh my God, Black people, stop asking for what's owed to you because the white people get it too. Like, come on.
Right. And let's not forget that after post-slavery, well, one, the fact that, Candice Owens being wrong shouldn't be anything surprising to people. This is somebody who intentionally tries to stretch the truth because, she wants to tap dance for master. I mean, it's wild to even talk about, like, it's like she's still in many ways like functioning with a slave mentality right now. But United States was not one of the first countries to ban slavery. It was in fact one of the last. So like, that's just the fact, you know what I'm saying? Secondly, let's not forget you had this whole sharecropping system post-slavery. You know what I'm saying? You had a system where Black people were denied ownership of the actual land that they were working. The system came about, you had Jim Crow laws. You had, of course, the attacks by organizations like the Ku Klux Klan and the mass lynchings of Black people in the South. It's so much that happened to Black people in the South. Even, when Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote his famous article, A Case for Reparations, he didn't even include slavery. He actually based his case of reparations around redlining, the practice that did not allow Black people to own property, to buy houses, or, we were only allowed to be in certain neighborhoods. And so it's so much beyond, reparations when you think as slavery. But I think a majority of white people are okay. I'm pretty sure that the white slave owners and landowners like made out nicely, you know what I'm saying, and are good. You know what I'm saying? It's our community that is in need of reparations like every other community has gotten. Why can't we get those? So what do you think about Larry Elder, Treble, you know what I'm saying, a Black man arguing for slave owners to get reparations?
First off, I think it's whack as fuck. Second off, so I just had a thought. I'm thinking, so if his premise is that white slave owners deserve reparations for losing slave labor, and it's like, why don't they just invest in the industrial prison complex then? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, the way I see it, they don't need reparations because all they did was they already repaired the system of slavery to make sure that anyone who's been indicted can now legally work without any wage. So it's like, bro, like, slavery didn't go anywhere. We're still profiting off of slave labor immensely.
I mean, you make a great point, right? There is, and that was the clause, right? If you're a prisoner, you can be kind of allowed and forced to work. In many prisons, we found out that they were, making Victoria's Secrets and making furniture over here and different projects over there. Of course, a lot of folks have been organizing around that. A lot of folks have been organizing for disinvestments in, a lot of colleges and universities had investments in the prison industrial complex. And I know there's been a lot of organizing for folks to even to disinvest in that. But you're right in that case. I mean, slavery still exists, but I think it goes back to like, why do you as a Black man like feel like you have to be a defender of or like a watchdog for white people? Like, they're good, like they have enough, people to speak for them. They have enough platforms, they have enough resources and money, and it's just weird. And this is somebody that with Larry Elder, who, if people vote to recall the current sitting governor of California, Gavin Newsom, that Larry Elder might become the governor of California. Miracle, like, how should we respond to this man?
Who's like, we're doing for like, how, I mean, there are Black conservatives, there are Black Republicans who run for office all the time, whether it's the Attorney General in Kentucky or, Senator Tim Scott. There are people out here, right?
Right.
If that's what the people of California want, that's
but it is weird because you do mention it always seems like these Black conservatives have to do this like twisting, turning, tap dance on issues around race. It seems like, and I just don't understand, like, why can't you just be like, okay, if you believe in like fiscal responsibility of tax or whatever conservative believe, if you believe that and you want to, you believe that you want less government or whatever, that's fine, whatever, because that's a political ideology. But when it comes to race, like, you mentioned somebody like Tim Scott, who's talked about getting pulled over because he's black, but yet then comes out and says like racism doesn't exist. Like, why does it have to be why can't you be a Republican and also be sensible when it comes to like, clearly racism exists, clearly white supremacy exists, clearly in 2021, white people benefit by having white skin, and almost every demographic or thing, loan, school, whatever you want to say, like, why can't we get both?
I think it's because they benefit from white supremacy. So if they call it out, then they lose their benefits, they lose their sitting, and they lose the comfortable spot that they built for themselves in Master's home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think also it's kind of mind-boggling if you study like politics, because the earliest, black elected officials and appointed officials were in fact Republican, based on this ideology that like the limited government is what's needed because people need to engage in mutual aid, because it was the police who were the Klansmen who were murdering, lynching, raping, and involved in human trafficking, which was at that time chattel slavery. But for some reason, this era of Republicans has, like Treble said, decided to basically pretend white supremacy doesn't exist in lieu of personal promotion and personal success and personal accomplishments. And it's very disheartening, because there is an argument that you can make for conservatism when it comes to combating race and violence, based on the fact that our governments continuously and honestly disinvest Black communities, wage war on Black communities, and harm Black people, as evidenced by all the statistics. And redlining, of course, the case for reparations was the first time an academic went on record and basically was like, the state of the housing crisis is the federal government's fault for the way that they redlined and kicked out and disenfranchised Black people, which we still see today. So I don't know why people can't be out here, being Malcolm X and a conservative. I don't know why people won't be honest about race. Like, if you face racism, it happens. And lastly, from a legal perspective, this idea that the best way to get over race is to not talk about race doesn't correlate to the real world, because just because you don't talk about something doesn't mean the phenomenon isn't happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying like, oh, the best way for me to heal from cancer is like to not think about it. No, you have to actually go to the hospital and actually get on a program and get medicine and get over it. But I think it goes back to kind of what Treble was saying. It's like, you want to make white people comfortable, and the best way to make white people comfortable is to pretend that racism doesn't exist, and to pretend that like, oh, because I like that, you're the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 Black people that have attained success in white America, like their mere presence, or that mere presence of that one Latinx person, means that like racism no longer exists. Like, that idea is it's a fantasy, but it's something that makes white people comfortable. It makes them feel like, yo, you're Donald Trump, you can have Kanye in the White House, and his mere presence mean that racism doesn't exist because I have a Black friend. And apparently, Miracle and Treble, that these Black friends can, I guess, also give you a pass.
See, this is on y'all, because y'all invite people to cookouts. Y'all give people hood passes. Y'all be acting like it's the lottery.
I mean,
I am guilty of this. I used to do this as a kid before I really understood racism and how it worked. I let white people say the N-word. I didn't care. Yeah. It didn't offend me. But then I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I should be like contributing to this behavior. Right. Let me start setting this boundary. You know what I'm saying?
Because you could also be contributing to that white person's ass whooping in another neighborhood. like when you weren't around. And I come from a generation previous to you, Treble, where you know, it was just not. I come from the generation of you going up, you say it, somebody going up in your mouth. Period, point blank, end of story. But at the same time, like you said, you know, you have, I mean, we've seen this in hip hop. I forget the one white girl who had like a hit song and she was from the Bay Area. And then she was like, black people gave me in the Bay Area said I could say the N-word. And then black women in the Bay Area said, no, we will fight you today, immediately. And then she like fell off the face of the earth and we've never seen her again. But the reason we're talking about this is because I don't know if you all remember, I barely remember this dude, Dog the Bounty Hunter. He was a white guy that had a reality TV show where they were hunting down criminals and it became popular. And so Dog the Bounty Hunter went on, got recorded saying the N-word a bunch of times. And I don't know why. Oh, right, Krayshawn was that. Where did Krayshawn go? Thank you, Rachel.
And I want to be like, Gucci.
What was the song? What was the song called?
She was like Gucci. I just remember that song. When she was
Gucci.
rapping. Yeah.
What is it about white people and Gucci? Is that the no?
And her and the
wasn't
other,
the other guy
like
had
Debbie
the
cake based off like Debbie Bates cake.
Yeah. That is
That
so hilarious. So I guess Dog the Bounty Hunter, I don't know why he's in the news now, but his daughter came out, and shout out to his daughter, you know what I'm saying? Because his daughter basically was like, I wasn't invited to the wedding because I rock with Black Lives Matter and they don't rock with Black Lives Matter. And they got a black guy. I kind of want to say shout out to him, but maybe no shot. They got a black guy to interview him. So here's Dog the Bounty Hunter talking about why, as a white guy, he chose to. Well, is he white? Because I think he brings up some stuff. All right, let's see what Dog has to say.
That organization.
Yes, I do. I have never been a racist. I'm 33.5% Apache, but because of over 15 years ago, I have an
like
Achilles heel.
that has something to do with it.
Well, let me ask you about that moment 15 years ago.
Yes, sir.
That phone call with your son.
Correct.
You were using language, and over 6 times during that call, you used the N-word.
Yes, sir.
He said you can't marry a black woman because we said the N-word.
Well,
here.
I thought I had a pass in the black tribe to use it, kind of like Eminem.
Who gave you the pass?
The brothers.
Who were the brothers?
I just, got to prison in 1979 after spending time in 18 months in Texas, and it was probably 3/4 from the black tribe. So that was a word that we used back and forth as maybe a compliment. My pass expired for using it,
in
but
the
no one told me
1980s.
that. To say a racist name doesn't qualify to
He
make
said
you
my
a
pass
racist.
expired.
If you use that word, if you use that word and you use it in your regular everyday life, it makes you a racist.
I have more black friends than Eminem.
That is the proximity argument. Like,
Eminem's like, why?
I think Eminem's
Chapman
like,
also denies his daughter's allegation.
you can point. Eminem's like, why am I? First of all,
put me in it.
First of all, Eminem does not use the N-word. Eminem has been on record as saying why he doesn't use the N-word, that he feels like he hasn't gotten a pass. You know what I'm saying? He understands that. You know what I'm saying? But then Eminem was from my same era, you know what I'm saying, where it was just on site. Use the N-word, it was on site. So Eminem has never used the N-word, I don't believe, I can't say Eminem's never used the N-word because he probably
The black people I was in prison with said I
Well, first of all, wait, he's 33.5%.
That doesn't matter. First of all, he's
Apache.
Indigenous folks. Because last I heard, I saw he was tracking down brown people on a Hawaiian islands, which he is not native to, was being a gentrifier and was out here putting people in prison. Last I heard, but I could be wrong. But our man at the Papa John's, Damon, I don't understand what it is with these people. What was the Matt Damon? Come on, he's just stopped saying the F word last year.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with these, these boomer, older millennial folks that don't understand slurs and feel the need to use them still.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. That's not my ministry to get it. However, what context are you using the N-word? Because you're being recorded talking to your family who's all 33.6 whatever.
Yeah. White.
You're
white.
in a conversation with other people who look like you. So how are you talking about Black people when you're using it? That's one.
Did you want to pull up, because we do have the actual rant where he used the N-word. If you wanted to see the context,
I want to see this.
If you wanted to hear, did you shut up, John? We do have the context in which he actually used the N-word several, and it was really like he was kind of like, "Hey, yo, man, this what we do over here. Like we over here, we say."
Yo, it kind of felt like he wanted to say it the entire time. Like it seemed like he was itching like, "Yo, my niggas gave me the pass to say it."
I mean, you know if they right.
I want to document.
How long is that? Is that a pass that? Because he said it expired. Do you go to a different neighborhood every year? Like, what is that?
I don't. See, I had a friend who was from the city of Miami, and they were like, in Miami, everyone says the N-word, and I said that's very lovely, but here we are not in Miami, and if you say that, you're going to get jumped, and I'm going to let it happen, and I'm not going to help you. I probably won't even call you an ambulance. Because I'm telling you, you cannot say it. Pass it only or for your friends, your internal circle. Yeah. That's it. It's like if your friend lets you borrow the car keys, it doesn't mean that anytime you see somebody with a car, you just go take their car keys and start driving. It's
that
like the pass
is excellent point.
It is for you. Like when you get on the bus, your friend, if you sharing a bus pass, you know, you just can't be taking on people's bus passes. I don't understand why that's hard to comprehend. I don't.
So let's play that, John, if you want to give us a little bit of Dogs. This is Dogs' call.
It's because we use the word nigger sometimes here. I'm not going to take a chance ever in life of losing everything I've worked for 30 years because some fucking nigger heard us say nigger.
That's not like hard R, bro. That's not
hard. That was not even a nigga.
Like,
my nigga trying to get a pencil. It wasn't even
like never. Never. If Lisa was dating a nigger, we would all say, fuck you. And you know that.
But he's not
if Lisa
racist,
brought a black guy home, it's not that they're black. It's none of that. It's that we use the word nigger. We don't mean you fucking scum nigger without a soul. We don't mean that shit. But
you don't
America
mean it.
Would think
okay,
we mean that.
okay.
And we're not taking a chance of losing everything.
Yeah, I say nigger, but I don't mean it. I don't mean scum.
Shout out to his family because, like, hey, look, hey, white teenagers, record your parents, like, hey, yo, and then put it on the internet. Like, shout out to his children for exposing this dude for who he really was.
That
was the right for the
second time. And 15 years ago, he got in trouble for this. So he ain't learned nothing in over a decade.
And that was just like Treble said, that was the hard R. That wasn't the, hey, yo, what up, my nigga? The brothers weren't talking to you like that, dog. The brothers were not. You know what I'm saying? You're not hard R-ing no brothers in prison. We know how prisons get down. Prisons almost always segregate around race. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's, you know, so I don't think anybody's still watching Dog the Bounty Hunter or support. If you are, please don't. Please don't.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I used to love Dog the Bounty Hunter. I did, because then he would hunt, and then they would pray for people, and they would be like, when you get out, we're gonna help you. But they never showed them actually helping people. Number one.
Absolutely
Number two, we really gotta create our racist rehab, because clearly these people are struggling and they need our help. And I feel like we need a TV show, kind of like how they do Wife Swap, but like where we just come in and we just help people like stop saying the N-word.
I don't, you know,
clearly they need help.
I mean,
Papa
it is wild.
John could be the host.
Yeah.
I too used to say the N-word.
I mean,
2 years.
yeah, and I think it goes back to like, why would you want to pass? Like, why would you, like, I'm just like you said, I'm not part of the LGBTQIA community. Why would I want to be able to say a word that is offensive to other people? Like, if we've deemed this word as offensive, like, why would I want the right or the pass to say this word? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand, like, you know, and especially the white people, y'all got everything else. Like, why do you like? It's like this thing of like, oh, we got to have this too. Like, it's like we can't like. We just can't even have the word neither. And so that's what's always been weird to me. Like white people that want to say it and kind of want to have this pass. Why do you want to have a pass to say a word that somebody else deems as degrading to them? It makes zero sense.
It's because they think freedom means the freedom to hate people. You know what I'm saying?
No mask and saying the N-word.
You feel me? It's like, no, bro. If you're free to practice hate, I'm free to whoop your ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if we're gonna be free, if it's gonna be about freedom, you freedom to say it, you consequences. And the consequences could mean somebody whooping your ass. And if that's the consequence, I mean, you wanted your freedom. You were gonna say something, Miracle?
Yeah, and Dee brought up a good point in the chat, and I just saw at the end of the day, ancestry means nothing. I know it hurts folks, and when we say this, and people be saying I be taking away their blackness, but given the history of the world, it is the culture in which you are raised. It is the culture in which you have been brought up. In addition to your DNA, because we know a lot of y'all have ancestry because your grandparents, great-grandparents were out here committing acts of violence. And you don't get a pass into a community that you don't know their language, you don't know their culture, you weren't brought up in it, but you now, because of some test that you paid $100 for, you can't claim that. And we have to be very honest about that, because like y'all out here disrespecting indigenous folks. Like what has Dog done for the indigenous community that he loves to claim?
I think that goes to that like allyship. Like what is true? Like true allyship is not like you being able to say the N-word. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it is. That's not like brotherhood. That's not like I'm part of the. And he said the black tribe, which was also really really weird. Like there's some black tribe.
It reminded me of like Israelites, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not no Israelite.
Definitely.
He was trying to play that Apache card with that one.
Right. The black tribe. But it's like, come on, bro. Like, but you make a great point. If you are part indigenous, what are you doing to help the indigenous community and help the people? Are you using your platform for that? If you are a true ally for black people, like, are you using your platform to that? Or is it become like a prop situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we do need to get, we need to get, where did Dog get that 33.5%? Was that ancestry? Where did he get that? I want to know. But it kind of goes back because that's kind of what, you know, the guy who's running for mayor in Pittsburgh kind of said, oh, I can't be racist. I'm part nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be racist too. I don't care what
we all can be bigoted. We all can have violence.
Stop that. Yes.
We have systemic past power. We are privileged and can be racist. And so I need people to like to hold on to that, to understand that like identity isn't doing the work that you think it is.
Absolutely. So we want to kind of go, you know, and it seems like we have a preponderance of video, but one of the things that came out this week was our president, Joe Biden. And apparently Joe just makes up things in his mind. I don't know what Joe be doing in the Oval
It's kicking in early. The dementia, man.
But Joe Biden, you know, did a conversation in the way, and it's just like, hey, bro, you don't like anti-Semitism, neither do we. Like, that's enough, bro. Like, but Joe always wants to take that further stuff. It's such a white supremacist thing to like center yourself in the story. Like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, so apparently Joe Biden talked about visiting the Tree of Life in the wake of the Tree of Life massacre that happened here in Pittsburgh, and something that he never did. So here's
as
Joe
a Pittsburgh native, I would have remembered that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all would have remembered, hey, Joe Biden, remember when he was at the...
It would have been big news, right?
Yeah.
Joe Biden, the former vice president, or Joe Biden came. I know he's come to Pittsburgh a lot, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to pull up that video, this is Joe Biden talking about his imaginary visit to the tree of life.
Just as amazing these things are happening in America.
Oh, was that what happened?
I think we played the end of the video.
Oh, we played the end of it. We played the end of it. We got to get a little rewind.
Listen, my theory is y'all called Uncle Joe too much. So Uncle Joe is now like that uncle at the cookout who just be lying every time you see him about what he's done, what he's been up to. The one you got to, when you have to write his obituary, you don't know what's true or what's false. And you just like, remember when he said he did this? Remember when and we know he just be lying? That's what Uncle Joe is now.
All right, here we go.
Lying.
To think, coming out of the civil rights movement and being involved in the Jewish community as a kid in the civil rights movement in Delaware, I used to think that hate could be defeated. It could be wiped out. But I learned a long time ago, it can't. It only hides.
Cornpop taught him that.
It hides. It hides under the rocks. And given any oxygen at all, it comes out. It's a minority view, but it comes out, and it comes out raging.
Could have just stopped right there.
And it's been given too much oxygen in the last 4, 5, 7, 10 years.
A good.
Could have just ended.
Seen itself, whether
great.
It was, I remember spending time.
And here he lost it.
Going to the Tree of Life Synagogue, speaking with them. It just is amazing. These things are happening.
It's kind of like he knew when he said it.
Joe.
Hey, Joe, we got this thing called Google, and we could actually pull up like who was where. Because didn't he say something like he was there when Mandela got freed, and he had made some other. He walked with Dr. King, he made a whole bunch of outlandish claims. And this was when the primary, and it was, he was running. And that also came out. They had made all these claims about his civil rights struggles and all of this stuff. And it's like, bro, like, it's okay. Once again, it's okay to be like, hey, I haven't had those experiences before. I was a white guy. I haven't had the experience. However, I want to learn. Like, that's perfectly fine, bro. Like, that's like an authentic thing. Like, don't try to make it up. Like, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? We're not expecting you to be the Forrest Gump of politics. You ain't been into all these. You were over here with King. You over here with Mandela. You know what I'm saying? You was at the Million Man March. Like, we're not expecting you to be that.
That would be
Joe.
a funny skit. Now that I think of it, just like Forrest Gump with Joe Biden's face, just going from South Africa to fucking where Martin Luther King stayed to the synagogue.
I mean, of course, it's a tremendous tragedy that happened here in Pittsburgh, and we're definitely not making light of the tragedy, but it's just like, we gotta come on, man, Joe. I don't know.
The audacity of whiteness is to lie about the most major events that have happened to impact it, folks. Is like, how can you? And then thing is like the peak of the modern Black liberation movement, right?
Absolutely.
The civil rights movement started like this wave of resistance. Like, why? Why do you have to be there? Just say you weren't there. Just say you weren't moved.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not like we're gonna vote for you. Oh, Joe Biden was. I mean, come on, bro. It's like, yo, you supported that, or you maybe at the time you didn't support it, but now you look back and you like, come on, bro. Like, yo, you was with Obama. Like, that was enough for us. You was with Obama. That was enough. Okay, we seen you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess we can go from Joe Biden to now Donald Trump. I mean, because we may see it's looking like Trump is going to run again. We may see and I don't know. I mean, because both these dudes are old too. They're like super old, but we may see a revisiting of Biden v. Trump in 2024. And I guess Donald Trump, not only is he doing these rallies, but now Donald Trump is going to do commentary for a boxing match coming up. I
did say he has a personality for show business. I've said that.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, yeah.
That's what he needs to do. Do these stand-up shows. Stay out of politics. This is what he could. Because we know really politics is a very like horrible. I mean, politics, but also a lot of these sports agencies use a lot of race-based promo that we've seen. And I think that this is like the perfect venue for him. I pray to God he doesn't run in 2024, but the way this world's going.
Well, supposedly this week he announced that he's gonna have some big rally in Iowa. You know, you normally, if you're doing rallies in Iowa and you're organizing in Iowa, it means that you're planning. And of course, you know, this is Donald Trump. In his mind, he did not lose. I mean, despite what facts came up, just like he said, the audacity of whiteness, he came out the other day and said there was 15 million uncounted votes. I mean, so in his mind, he has to run again because he felt like he did not lose. Like he should be currently president right now. And so, I mean, is Donald Trump better that's what he is. He entertained during his, presidency. You know, of course, he was the apprentice and all that stuff. You're fired. You know, he has that background. But we know that he's going to use his platform. It's going to be political. You think Donald Trump ain't going to go out there while this boxing? The minute somebody get knocked down, oh, that's Sleepy Joe. You know he's going to use his whole commentary to attack Joe Biden, to attack the Democrats, to attack, you know what I'm saying, like all these people. I mean, he's going to use it for
they're not doing the work they need to be doing. So maybe 100%. He can come out there and light some fire under their butts to get them to do the work they're supposed to be doing, because clearly it's not working right now.
Yeah, the Democrats.
So maybe he needs to start getting out there and showing people what's going to happen if they don't do the work they're supposed to do.
Are you gonna? I didn't know that he was on Monday Night Football.
Am I gonna watch the game?
No. Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna tune in for Donald Trump's commentary? Trouble?
Not at all, bro. I'm cool. I feel like my views on Donald Trump. I liked him as an entertainer. I thought he was funny, and if his presidential, if him being president wasn't real life, that would have been a funny little reality TV show to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Here goes this apprentice star / businessman running for president, winning, and then just wreaking havoc for 4 years.
Yes. That's like a great TV show. An excellent premise of a TV show, and it really happened.
Also, isn't Vander of a certain age? Like, why are they boxing?
Yeah, Vander Holyfield's 55. I mean, it's a lane for these old, Mike Tyson did it, and now it's a lane,
the exhibition.
The celebrity boxing. Yeah, it's like an exhibition. It's a lane. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and I don't know if these people don't have good financial advisors. I don't know. It just seems like a Vander Holyfield, yo, bro, you done got hit in the head so many times. Call it a day, but that's the big thing right now. Celebrity boxing is a big thing, and I'm sure folks will tune in. It just will be interesting to see if, Trump off the cuff, he probably will say some wild shit. And I'm sure whatever week is after the event, we're probably gonna have some clips of Donald Trump.
I can't wait to see the memes.
Wild stuff. But you make such a great point, Trouble. That would have been a great TV show, but we lived it. And now we're in the midst of a global pandemic, and we have no real end in sight. Nobody wants to wear masks. All these white people are out here fighting school boards. I mean, it's just mass pandemonium. It's 4 times as much COVID this year at the same time as it was last year. Who the hell? And it's happening on 9/11. Oh my God! I never even thought about it.
It's there is a theory that this is a bad place, that in 2012 the world is shifted, and I feel like we've got this is literally, I don't know what we did to be living in a time like this, but I apologize.
What a time. Oh, what a time to be alive. So let's get into our sounds of the police. We have a lot of sounds of the police to get to.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Probably my favorite story of the sound of the police is the fact that in Beverly Hills, California, they instituted a unit called Safe Streets. And the police were supposed that they had a task force about safe streets. And guess what they found? Miracle and Treble. 99% of the people that they arrested in their Safe Streets program were, guess who?
Rich retirees.
Not white people. 99% of the people that they arrested for the Safe Streets program were black, and the one person they arrested that was not black was described as a dark-skinned Latino.
I know black.
So, well, they obviously they thought he was. Obviously, they thought so. Like, this is, I mean, when this is what I'm saying. When these conservatives and these people try to act like racism does not exist, you start like to use safe streets meant the absence of black people being. And I remember, I was just in Beverly Hills a couple weeks ago, and I was walking. I walked, and I was walking, thinking like, "Yo, I hope." You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope. I don't, because you're like, I was aware. I'm a black dude. I got on a t-shirt and some sweats, and I'm walking through Beverly Hills. Like, I could be looked at in a particular way and get pulled over and harassed by the cop. I didn't even realize this program was going on. Had I read this article, I'd have been like, I might have put a whole suit on just to walk through Beverly Hills. So any comment about Beverly Hills Safe Street program? Miracle, they're being sued now. Should they?
Of course.
Just to put it in perspective, before I go to you, Miracle, 106 people were arrested. 105 were black, and one was a dark-skinned Latino person.
Depending on how he was raised, that man is so upset right now to be lumped in with a bunch of black folks. And he's like, no, this only happens to me here. Wow. But it's just, we keep talking about implicit bias. We keep talking about this, like anti-blackness is codified, like in our nation's like implementation of laws. And this keeps happening time and time again. And this is why I keep saying that in order to do any type of policing work, and to actually do work where we need police, we have to start from zero. We have to literally deploy police in all of these communities across the country and have the police stop every single person who's doing something. Because I guarantee there were some folks who were jaywalking in front of those cops. There were some folks who were fighting in front of those cops. There were some folks who were being disrespectful. And the cops were like, just pipe down, have a good day, right? And so what we don't see is all the times the police could have acted but chose not to. That's the problem. And as someone who was, I've been fortunate enough to have cops, see me do things like drop my headlights off and not get arrested, not get stopped, not get cited. But other people don't have that same privilege. And we're talking about these arrests. Not only is it bad they happen, but also we need to compare all the people they could have arrested but did, and what they look like and what they were doing as well.
That reminds me of when New York had the stop and frisk law, that the percentage of white, most of the people that were stopped and frisked were black, but actually the white people that were stopped had a higher, like they had more drugs on them, they had more weapons on them, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, rarely were they stopped. According to this lawsuit in this article, it says it was filed by a couple that was on vacation in Beverly Hills. They had been riding a scooter when police detained them without any reasonable suspicion or probable cause because they were riding a scooter. They were arrested on multiple charges, all of which were dropped. The suit also says that the unit stopped the vice president of men's footwear at Versace, who was holding a Versace bag.
Yo, I remember that. He did go on like social media. Versace.
So, I mean, so even so that goes to say, even the VP of Versace, who's got a Versace bag, he's a VP. It doesn't matter. You black and you Beverly Hills, you subject to this level of harassment. Treble, did you have comment on this?
Yeah, man. It's like if you really want to make the streets safe, maybe you're focused on the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should be looking at them cops because they clearly got some issues that are making these streets very unsafe for Black people riding scooters. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like,
it makes you wonder, right? We just got a bunch of scooters in Pittsburgh. It makes you wonder. And you're right, Miracle. The guy who the Versace guy, his name is Sahel E. Bembury. He basically said, what's unfortunate is I literally designed the shoes that are in this bag, and he was being searched for having a Versace bag, even though he was the VP. Oh my God. Yeah. And so that's wild.
And maybe to talk about New York, it made me think of that the future New York mayor is that Black man who said stop and frisk was just applied wrong. It's a good program. It was just applied. So we just got California to New York. We're just in a space.
So one of the things that actually is interesting, you know, and it's talking about, you know, a lot of times we talk about police because, you know, like the police are like seen a lot of times through the frame of like mass media, right? Or mainstream media. So it's like the police is seen as like heroes, you know, back the blue, they're heroes. And so one of the things that kind of came out of people like One Hood who have been asking for public safety to be reimagined and the police abuse to be held accountable is that the police were saying that all these police officers were quitting, all these police officers were demoralized, they're quitting, they're retiring, they're not coming back. And it was going to lead to this police shortage. And they were like ringing the alarm. And guess what happened? The Marshall Project actually did the study, the labor data, and that was a lie. That police departments did not, there is no mass police leaving the police department. There's no mass retiring. That by and large, police departments are the same size now, even post-pandemic, as they were previously. Is this police are just, we can't
it sounds like
word now?
Yeah, it sounds like they were trying to kind of like set up this story of like, oh, focus on everyone who's retiring and then left out how many people are joining, because I feel like more people are joining than they are retiring. Because I know a guy who literally just got officiated into the police force. I still don't really trust someone like that, but it's like, bro, do you? You feel me? But it's like, bro, like I know there are people, you feel me? Like I know there are people out there like gung ho to join the police force, and they just want us to focus on everyone leaving. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's also that narrative because we've seen a rise in violence, not just in Pittsburgh, but all over the country. And it's also that narrative of this rise of violence is the fault of people attempting to hold police accountable for the transgressions. You know what I'm saying? So just to put it in perspective, in this article, it said that most, labor has fallen 6% post-pandemic. The police departments have only lost 1% of the actual police officers. So I think it also was this narrative of, oh, there's so much violence because people are cutting police budgets and there are less cops, and that's why the violence has skyrocketed. And that is also proved to be just a straight up lie. You know what I'm saying? We actually, in Pittsburgh, we actually increased police, money to police, and it did not mean that we have less violence. We have more violence like everywhere else. And so maybe it's the job that the police are doing or do. And maybe, I don't know, we can look at how we can do that job better and how we can do it to where it's less harmful to Black and brown people. I don't know. That sounds like something to me. Miracle?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. People are talking about this, but like I saw on Twitter that a lot of police, that 1% is because a lot of these police officers are dying from COVID because they refuse to be vaccinated and they refuse to wear masks. So we also got to think about these officers who were forced to engage, interact with, who do not take this pandemic seriously and are actually spreading disease. And it's very important when we're even thinking about like what's going on in the jail. A lot of these guards refusing to be vaccinated as well. And I think it's just funny, but at the end of the day, the fact we're shocked that police lie is just, I don't know why we would believe this statistic or this rhetoric. And now look at us. We got more police, bigger police budgets, and still no investment for our communities.
Right. And you're talking, I know I was, like I mentioned, I was in Los Angeles. The LAPD are actually suing because I guess in California, they had passed a law that said all public employees must be vaccinated. So the LAPD, which I think is under 50% vaccinated, actually suing not to be vaccinated. And then a story came out today where there were 3 cops, I believe it was Maine or Vermont, that were fabricating COVID cards because they didn't want to get vaccinated. So they got caught fabricating COVID cards. And so like, that is, also some of the stuff that we've seen, you know what I'm saying? And so that is interesting. That's fascinating, particularly because it's like, you're supposed to be like law enforcers. And then here comes like a law or policy comes down. And if you don't agree with it, now you want to find a way to break that policy. But it's like, but maybe that's what we're doing. I mean, like some certain laws and stuff we might not agree with. But if we go against that law, all of a sudden we're criminals, we're wrong, we're all this and this and that. And so it is fascinating to kind of see that happen. Somebody said, did we see a clip of a cop being followed by?
They're probably trolling.
I don't know, but yeah. So it is interesting to see that. I guess we have. I mean, there's always more cop stories, but I guess we can get to since we're getting up to the time, our Terry Crews of the week. And this week, our Terry Crews of the week is, in fact, it's Terry Crews. I mean, it's Terry Crews again. Probably every other week is going to be Terry Crews, but Terry Crews posted a tweet. I guess he heard about your cookout miracle. He heard about being invited to the cookout. He said the best thing about being uninvited to the cookout is you never drank the Kool-Aid. Miracle.
What do he be trying to do? That'd be my question. Like,
the best thing about being uninvited to the cookout is you never have to drink the Kool-Aid.
No, you never drank like drinking the Kool-Aid is like buying into, I don't know. Maybe it's buying into like white supremacy or racism. Terry Crews is one of these dudes that's always like, he's like the what was it?
That tweet didn't make no
Steven. Sense. He's like Steven in Django, right? He's the guy that always want to jump and try to jump in front of the bullet, so the master doesn't get killed. Like that's kind of what Terry Crews has been. So the spot. You said this on Netflix.
I refuse to watch that man's movie because the way he puts the N-word and let's talk about people y'all give the N-word pass to is Quentin Tarantino.
And then the wild part is he be right, nigga. It's like the character don't even have to say that. Quentin, this character don't have to say nigga. That is true. That is true. That is true. And I was
like, And I saw a clip the other day of Steven when he first met Django, whatever, and I died laughing. I was pretty sure it was a funny movie, but I just refused.
But anyway, Terry Crews.
He just like, sir. And then he said he was talking about not being invited to the Expendables, which isn't even a black production. So it's like, why are you? Don't make no sense, sir.
You were not talking, bro. We knew it. We know what you were talking about, Terry Crews. Is because black people don't want nothing to do with you, and why? Because you keep doing bullshit like this. Like, bro, stop, man. Like, go dance on your little shows and make white people smile and bounce your pecs up and down. Like, go do you, bro. Like, we're not even thinking about you, Terry Crews, but like if you didn't always come to white people's defense every 5 seconds, we wouldn't even care about you. What the hell is wrong with this dude? Trouble? What's wrong? Go to Flint and help these people get clean water, Terry. It's where you're from. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
He's kind of he made a career out of othering himself, for real. I feel like he don't drink the Kool-Aid because he heard black people do it, and he don't want to be nothing like them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, he definitely. I mean, and that's the thing. The thing is, we know he's not stopping. I mean, Terry Crews, he doesn't want to just come out and say, "Yo, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said nothing about Black Lives Matter." Like all the many Terry Crewses, like he's gonna keep going. Like he's got his foot down, and it's just like if you're gonna take a stand, why not take a stand with something more meaningful, man? what I'm saying? But his stance is he gonna ride or die for these white folks, man. You know what I'm saying? Him, Larry Elder, Candice Owens, man.
The list just keeps growing.
What I love about the article though is it's the title of this article is "Somebody Come Get This Jigaboo." I just think that's so.
I hate that word, and I actually hate like jigaboo and coon. I do like hate those words, but it's like, why do you have to?
I mean, well, so maybe in our racial rehab miracle, we can find a way to come up with different terminology for instead of cooning or some of the other words. What are some words? What's a technical term we could give somebody like a Terry Crews, a Candice Owens, a Larry Elder? We have to find that language and give it to them. So,
no.
So I did see
look at the chat, the private chat.
Oh, I missed the. Oh yes. Oh, you about to. So we did get a comment, and we got a comment. I don't know if Andrea is still watching. When she said she's not politically savvy or motivated, I may want to learn more, but I don't want entertainment. I strive for more education. Andrea, this segment is for you. It's called White Pages. And in this segment, like in every show, we give folks an opportunity to get a book, to find out about a book. Every author is Black, and they can read and learn more. This week's book is called Let My People Vote. This past Sunday, we had our One Hood Power kickoff event, and our keynote speaker was Desmond Meade. Desmond Meade is an amazing organizer out of Florida. He helped to pass Amendment 4, which gave formerly convicted people the right to vote in Florida. It was the largest expansion of voting rights in a half century. And so Desmond Meade's book, Let My People Vote, is this week's White Pages. Support this brother. For those that came out, everybody was inspired by his speech. And just, even if you missed it, I know he just came and kind of kicked it with us. That's right. Woogie came through, man. We appreciate y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a wrong. He was awesome. That's right. We appreciate you coming through and supporting us, Woogie. And we're not from Pittsburgh. We are from Philly. We're from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's on the other side. Pennsylvania's a rectangle. Pittsburgh's on the left. Philly's all the way to the right. So we were away from the flooding, thankfully. But Let My People Vote. It's a quick read, a good read. Support our book. And then our call to action. We have a weekend filled with great events happening in Pittsburgh. We had mentioned Farouk is not with us because his play is opening at the City Theater this week. And so I always try to give it the wrong. It's called The Rivers Don't Know. And it's from September 10th to the 19th. Tickets are free. And so you can go to City Theater. You can get your tickets. They're free. And so if you want to see the supervillain, if you want to, heckle him while he's on stage. No.
You don't fight us. You know he's going to watch this shit.
Wear your sunglasses, nigga. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, shit. I feel like it's a little too soon for that one.
You're
so
banned.
The Rivers Don't Know. And then also this weekend is the Barrel and Flow Fest. And you can go and taste a special beer produced by our very own Miracle. You want to talk a little about your beer collaboration and the event this weekend, Miracle?
Yes, your girl has actually, I'm Southern. I have produced a line, the Yaller and the Yinzer. It is two different moonshine flavors. One is like a sweet, one is more of like a savory. So I have two moonshine flavors for you to sample at the Barrel and Flow Fest on Friday. So I'm on Saturday. I had to make it political. Moonshine is a very political drink. You look at the history during Prohibition. It does have like a sordid past, but we have NASCAR now, so you're welcome. But so we have that come through. It is a list. It's over 40 Black breweries. It's over 80 vendors. I am partnered with Lucky Wine and Spirits, a small, a local business distillery out in Millvale, and they make great drinks. Their limoncello is to die for. So you can stop by the store or you can order from them online. But yes, please come through all weekend. We're also going to be having forums, talk about diversity, how you can support Black businesses, how you can expand businesses, and some cool things that are going on in the brewery industry. Like it was cool. Like I learned to distill. I can actually, you know, make all types of stuff now, but the Pennsylvania Liquor Review Board won't allow me to. So gotta go and buy it at the fest. You know, so come through. It'll be fun. It's a good time. We're gonna be outside. You do have to wear essentially wear a mask, but you have to be vaccinated or have a negative test, and they're doing on-site testing too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Rapid testing there. Also, Friday night, we got something going on, Treble. You want to talk about, you know?
Oh yes, the Lights On Festival. So we will be downtown at the Oasis stage for the Lights On Festival. We got Jasiri opening up the set, you know what I'm saying? And we got a bunch of new artists coming through to shut it down.
Absolutely. So that would be if you out downtown at the Lights On Festival, we're performing from 9 to 10 at the Trust Oasis stage. You know, again, another dope artist curation by our very own Treble NLS. So if you missed us last week at Patonka Tonk, where we rocked out, we had a great time. We will be back this Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Yes, no human being is illegal. Shout out to my homies Rebel Diaz for coming through at Patonka Tonk. And Patonka Tonk was dope. It was a good spirit, positive energy, positive vibes. And so it's One Hood weekend, you know what I'm saying? So you got Barrel and Flow, you got The Rivers Don't Know, you got us at Trust Oasis, you know what I'm saying? We get it. We the only thing out here popping. You already know what it is. All right. So anyway,
and JM's performing Saturday at the Allegheny Overlook, and
I think that's part of Lights On
the
too.
City and Jordan Montgomery also have beers. I believe they have 2 sour beers. I can't remember the flavors, but they also have 2 beers at Barrel and Flow. So also the tickets I think range from $75 and up, but all the drinks are free. So if you like to drink, you come out and sip, taste beers from all around the country. I believe we have maybe 1 or 2 non-alcoholic beers. I have to double check on those, but still come out. There's like food, there's fun. It is a 21 and up event. But if you're in the city this weekend, it'll be cool. And also Lights On, like, hello, turn up. We're outside, right? Like
we outside.
We're
outside carefully. We're outside, socially distanced, safely. Yes. So shout out to so we got a lot going on this weekend. Catch us if you can. We hope to see y'all again. And until next week, hopefully we'll be back fully formed next week for This Week in White Supremacy. Peace, One Hood, y'all.
Peace out, y'all.
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out.